I want to go over some of the absolute basics about getting a free house in Japan. What I'm going to say is very controversial. Some of those gaijin gaijin's the word for foreigner, anybody who's not Japanese, who are in Japan, they don't like what I'm doing, what I'm helping. I don't know why, but I get a lot of pushback. Well, I can see why. You'll see why in a minute. But there's a big expat community in Japan, Britain, loads of Americans, Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders, loads from Europe and other countries. And you can get a free house in Japan, that's the thing. And some people didn't. Some people paid for it and they regret it now and they think we should all pay for it as well. But no, you can get a free house. There's a lot to it. It's a very complex, challenging process. It's not easy. The reason there are so many free homes is because the population is falling by roughly 1 million people a year. Roughly 1 million people a year, population is falling. They're building new homes all the time. Japanese culture, they like a new home instead of using one of the old ones. Opposite in Britain. In Britain, people prefer an older home to a new one. New builds aren't as popular as an already home that's decades old. But in Japan, no, they don't like even if it's 10 years old. Oh, that's old now. I want to build a new one. So they're building like millions of new homes every year. And there's all these empty homes. When somebody dies or goes into an old people's home and eventually dies, the next of kin will have the option of inheriting it. And they don't want to pay the inheritance tax. The inheritance tax is prohibitively expensive. Plus, then they got responsibility. They have to start paying land tax. No way out of it. To pay the land tax on it. And there's usually a back payment. The last old person to die hasn't kept up with all their tax payments. And there's all this owed on it. Maybe millions of yen that is now owed on it. They don't want to take on that liability. The asset they're taking on is probably worth less than the liabilities they'd be taking on. So they choose not to inherit. That's their choice. They don't have to. It's not a forced thing. You are inheriting this. You have to take action. If you're the next of kin or somebody's died, you've got the option of inheriting this house. You have to go to a lot of effort, put effort in with a solicitor. If you choose not to do that, the house becomes abandoned. The Japanese word for it is akiya. And there are tens of millions. I think it's 9 million or 10 million officially, but there's loads of unofficial ones that aren't added to the list. It's in the tens of millions of akiya, abandoned homes. The majority of them are quite old now and need a lot of work. You can't really go and live in them. But a small percentage of them are really quite nice, need minimal amount of work, just change the locks, you can move in. And there's a very small percentage of them that are really amazing, beautiful homes that are abandoned. In a year or so, they're going to become very run down and you can just get grass and weeds growing through it. But I think you're doing a good thing by rescuing, or liberating one of these abandoned homes. Now, there's all the gaijin pot forums, which I've been involved for decades, and there's retired Japan forums, these ones. They don't like what I'm saying. You can't do that. That's wrong. You've got to do it properly. Well, there is a Japanese law in place that if you can prove you've occupied one of these akiya for 10 years minimum, you can then apply to claim it as your own. If you prove you've had it, it's been in your possession for 10 years. There's a few complicated things about it. It might be up to 20 years. If there's a bit of a dispute about the last ownership, is it abandoned, it could be up to 20 years. But once you've done that, say you do the 10 years or the 20 years, you claim it as your own, and your name is now in land registry, you've got to start paying land tax on it. Why would you, if you've lived there for 10 years without paying any land tax, you're squatting essentially. Squatting is not wrong if it's done properly. You have to do it properly. Now, why is this law there? Why is that provision there for you to occupy an abandoned home for 10 years and then you can apply to claim it as yours? For that provision to be there, it is, whether it's encouraged or not, but it is okay to choose one of these abandoned homes. You're doing a good thing if you're maintaining it, improving the area. Now, we know that there's some of these areas in Japan where the population has been falling dramatically. It used to be 1 in every other house was lived in. 1 in 2 was lived in. 1 in 2 was abandoned. Now, those 1 in 2, they would love people to come and live. They don't want all these empty homes around them. And then the population falls even more. It's about 5 out of every, So 5 out of every 6 houses are abandoned. Only 1 in every 6 is lived in. Now that 1 in every 6 who lives there, they don't like being surrounded by a ghost town. They want good people to come and live there. I would like. And then it became 1 in 15 is lived in. So like 14 empty properties, then there's 1 that's still lived in, an old person who's going to be dying soon or going to an old people's home soon. Now they would like people to come and live there. As long as you're good people, you're adding to the area. They don't want all those homes to go to rack and ruin. The area that I'm talking about is called Atami. It's just the southeast of Tokyo. It's about 45 minutes on a fast train from Tokyo. You can get back into Tokyo in 45 minutes. Now, this area there's a lot of old holiday homes there. I'll tell you about the area. Back in the 80s and 90s, there was a massive boom in Japan. Economic boom. It was huge. Everybody was very wealthy. There's a lot of money about. And a lot of these wealthy ones built second homes in the countryside. 3rd homes, 4th homes. A holiday home for a little trip, to get away from the city. Now, there were so many of these beautiful homes built in the 90s. Then there was the bust and the lost decades. Most of these homes were somebody, this old person, old businessman, he goes there every now and again for the last few decades, keeps it maintained, and then he's got old, hardly ever goes there, or he might have died now. The next of kin did not want to inherit it. They chose not to inherit it. And some of these homes are beautiful. You can look at them. Well, I've got a load of videos. I'll put some clips in now. Some of the videos of me going Ikea hunting. I'll put some clips in now. You can see what I'm talking about. And you just got to put the effort in. You might have to look. There's a car there, so there are some people around here. I think someone said maybe 1 in 20 of these houses might be not available to be Ikea. This place is obviously Ikea for a long time. I thought the windows are broken, but they're not broken. It's just the paper things in the windows are broken. But that's quite a nice looking place. There's a car here as well. You'll find some areas there'll be a little pocket of places where people do actually live in them, or where they come occasionally. 1 in 20 is lived in, and all the rest are unoccupied. I've been walking a long way, getting tired now walking. I'm at a very high elevation now. I think we're above 1,000 and something meters, but it's a good idea to get to an elevated position and get an idea. I think a drone would be very useful. I haven't got one today. A drone would be possibly. Be careful with snakes. Always look for signs. If no one's been in, that's like the place where you're coming. So no one's been here for a long time. Of course, the last person to leave has locked it. Of course they have. But at some point, somebody lived here. See, that's nice. That's a nice looking place. Can't really tell much from there. But what a unique opportunity this is. It's an incredible opportunity. The population of Japan is falling by 1 million people every year. See, look at that, nice bathroom. There's no way of knowing how long ago this was last occupied. But I think this one's not too long. Of course, cut all this back. What's that noise? I think water does come in. So a lot of these homes are really beautiful homes they need minimal amount of work to just move in and occupy them. If it has been abandoned, it's absolutely been abandoned. You're not doing anything wrong, you're doing a good thing. In about 10 years, that house will have gone to wreck and ruin. Nature will be taken over. It'll be too far gone to restore. If you go there and live there, do some cleaning, maintenance, fix things, you have to change the locks. One place me and my son found, we got access to it, no problem. And inside, Kiki, are you caught? And my dog's got caught. Kiki, are you okay? Did you get caught? There you go. Good girl. Did you get caught up? Got caught up in some brambles. This one house we found, we got in, and there was all kinds of possessions there. I can imagine when the old person died, the family or nearest relatives, they go around, look, is there anything we want? They might take some family things they want, and the other stuff they don't take. Anyway, we found some keys in a pot by the door. That's often the case. You find keys near the front door. We didn't need to change the locks. So we've got the keys, there's a spare set of keys, and we can occupy that place now. We did all the land registry checks. This is what I'll help you with. I'll help you, if you're interested in this, you might have never been to Japan before, you've only been there for holidays. I can help you with all the things you need to know. Doing the land registry checks, who the last owner was, when they deceased. Did anybody claim it? No, no one claimed it. Okay, that house is Akira. You can choose that home if you want. You might change locks if you can't find the keys. Now, there's a lot of other things to consider. Do you get utilities turned on? I'd say no, because most people I'm dealing with, like myself, are not going to be living there all the time. It's just a backup plan, or it's a plan for, I'll talk about visas in a minute. You know, you get a 90-day tourist visa. You might just go there for 90 days a year or something like that. So no, don't bother getting utilities on. You want a good solar panel, fold-out solar panel you take with you when you leave, and a good battery bank. I think these new solid-state batteries, or one of the new sodium, they're brilliant. The technology is getting better. That will run all the things you need to run. You don't need to pay for standing charge and utility bills. You can have gas heating for heating water, washing, shower, bath, cooking, and heating the home in the winter. You can have these gas bottles. You can go and buy one, bring it, plug it in. That's for your heating. And for electricity, I'd say don't bother getting utilities turned on. Water is often free. It's often free up in Atami. It's all free for all residents. It's pumped from the mountain. Lovely mountain water. Very good quality water to drink and bathe in, and for cooking. So don't bother getting electricity turned on. Have LED lights in the rooms you want. Have a battery bank in the kitchen for all your kitchen things. Have a battery bank in the living room for, well, you don't have to turn electricity on. And you take it all with you when you go. Now, when you first arrive, this is what we were talking about, this one guy who did it. There's one guy I know who's very experienced Akira hunting. You find the one you like, you do the checks. It's an empty, abandoned home. You choose, this is going to be my home now. Your plan, for if anyone asks, is you want to occupy it for 10 years and claim it as your own. But I think if you've been there for 10 years, you wouldn't bother. If it ain't broke, why try to fix it? Why rock the boat? Why go and claim it as your own? You've been occupying it for 10 years. If you claim it as your own, now you have to start paying land tax. I'd say don't do that. Keep squatting there. Now, when you arrive, it's going to be full up with stuff that the last deceased owner owned. They've deceased. Family members or friends didn't bother taking it. They took what they wanted, any family heirlooms, anything precious, anything important to them, pictures, whatever. The rest has all been there for however long it's been since they died. You probably want to get rid of that. Now, you could pay to have a skip and have a dump. You could buy a little truck or hire a truck to get rid of the rubbish. But what this American guy, Andy, who I want to interview on my channel, he suggests you bury it, because in the future someone might come and say, oh, there's this family heirloom I wanted, this thing, this book, or this picture, or I don't know what it is. If you've big cobweb there. Big massive cobweb. Wow. Anyway, if you buried it, I'd say a day's work, dig a big hole, wrap it all up in a big tarpaulin, all the things that you don't want, put it all there, wrap it all up and bury it over. And if somebody did come, you haven't thrown it all away, it is there, they could put the effort in and go and get it if you wanted. You bury all the things you don't want, so you've got a nice empty home now. Clean it really well, get good disinfectant. You know, there's probably a dead body in it, probably, you know, someone elderly died, and clean it all really well. I do a bit of liquor paint, nice new paint, makes it all seem new. Varnish the wood, sand it down, varnish it. Now, you might be short of some furniture, you might have thrown some furniture away that you didn't want. Look around the other IKEA, the other abandoned homes, the other abandoned buildings. You can look around and choose if you need a new fridge. There's loads of, the population is falling by 1 million people every year. And there's millions of empty homes. You can go and find, and if it's too old, it doesn't work very well, go and get another one, clean it. You know, rice cooker, microwave. These days you might find air fryer, you might find all sorts, new oven, new table and chairs, new furniture, lovely tables, chairs, lovely furniture. Get a little K-truck. I'll talk about vehicles in a minute. But you want to fit out your home as you want it for free. That's the beauty of Japan. And why Japan? Let's talk about Japan. Why Japan? Now, we know Keir Starmer said, if you don't like the changes we're making, you know, and other countries as well in the West, with open borders, invite all these people who don't know who they are, just invite them all into the country. If you don't like these changes, then leave. So a lot of people are leaving. And in the past, they'd go to other Southeast Asian countries because the Western currencies go a long way, don't they? You can live like a king. Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, loads of people go to Thailand. I mean, loads of men, divorced men, you know, who are, they got names for them, and they divorce loser or something. They all end up going to Thailand because the pound goes a long way. They can live like kings there. Now there's a terrible situation with Thailand, Cambodia, the war on the border, and a lot of people are leaving those countries, and the prices are going up. You can't live like a king anymore. The currency is not as good, the currency exchange. Now, that never used to apply to Japan. Like Philippines and all these other countries. Kiki, come on, we go this way. Because the Japanese yen was quite strong. Now things are changing to such a degree. The yen is going down. You're better off in Japan than you are in these other countries. And all these other countries, if it's a developing nation, you know, you haven't got the advantages of a developed nation. But Japan is a very advanced developed nation, far better than the UK and America, I would say. So you got those advantages of a good developed nation, good healthcare, good infrastructure, very good, you know, everyone knows the trains are like on time and things like that. But you've also got the advantages of a developing nation now with a very cheap currency. Things are very, very cheap in Japan. You can go to the 100 yen sushi restaurant. That's about 30 pence in British pounds. And so you could have 3 of those for less than £1, you know. And sushi is such good food. Japanese food is so good. Alcohol is so cheap. Oh my word. Compared to UK, there's so much tax in the UK on alcohol. I love good quality sake. You can buy it so cheap. I think you can buy it for about the same price as water, you know, per litre. You know, what people pay for filtered water. You can buy good sake, you know, nice bottles, you know. It's amazing. Everything is so cheap. I'm just making the point that the yen is going down to such a degree that you can live like a king in Japan. It's very, very cheap living. Very cheap. You can get a free house. You can get free furniture. You can run a car for very cheap. There's a law in Japan, if you didn't know that, K cars, they've got to qualify to be a K car. That means you have a yellow number plate. It's very, very cheap to run. They've got to be a small little car. It's got to be, there's a weight restriction, a power restriction, but you can still drive it on the motorway. My K car I drove for you, I had a little Subaru K car, and I went long distance, and I drove from Tokyo to Kobe. You can drive on the motorway. It goes quite fast, but it's very, very cheap. Insurance, tax, all the costs are very cheap. So I say buy a little K vehicle. You'll need a vehicle. Well, you don't need one if you're near a train station, but it's handy to have one for going scavenging. That's what I do when I go crafting. It's called Urbex, urban exploring, where you're going to look for cool stuff that's been abandoned, and the population is falling by 1 million people a year. Right, finally I want to touch on visas. Everyone says, well, how can you do it? Because you can get a very cheap flight from London to Tokyo now, 300 and something pounds. There's a cheap Chinese Airlines, very cheap. But people say, well, what about visas? 90 days not long enough, you know. I want to go for longer than 90 days. So this is the part that a lot of people don't like. But I'm not going to say whether I recommend this or not. I'm just reporting on what is happening. There's something called a J-Find visa. Japan Find visa. Now, you need to have qualified from one of the top 100 universities in the world in the last, 5 years or something like that. And then you can get a 2-year visa. Very easy, no questions asked, as long as you've qualified from one of these universities. Not many people have qualified from one of those universities in the last 5 years, but what this guy Andy's doing, and he'll talk about it a lot, he's quite open about it, he's helping people. You can download a degree from the degree mill. The degree mill it makes a bit of a mockery of anyone who puts all the work in getting one of these degrees from one of these top 100 universities, but you can download it, you can print it out, and you can quite rightly say, I have got a degree from one of the top 100 universities. I think it's wrong. It is wrong, isn't it? It's deceptive. but people are doing that, and it works. You can get the J-Find visa, a 2-year visa, and then you can extend it. The worst that could possibly happen is, you know, you get asked to leave and you go back. It's not like a criminal thing or anything like that if you get found out, but no one has got found out about it so far. But you can get a 2-year visa. I can help you with that. I can put you in touch with Andy. He's an expert on that. He's helping people do that, and they are doing it. It is deceptive. That's something you've got to decide for yourself. I wouldn't. I've got a Japanese wife. I can get a spouse visa, but I want to help people have options. But actually, the 90-day tourist visa is not that hard. You can do a lot in 90 days. In 3 months, £300 to fly back to the UK, spend some time back in the UK, and do it again for another 3 months. Don't overstay your visa. That's going to affect your re-entry. You won't be able to get back in so easily. There are other options. You can apply for business visas, but the J-Find visa is a good option. 2 years, and then you can extend it. So a lot of people are thinking, should I retire in Japan? Or have you heard of this grey gap year? You know, I've got grey hair now. My kids, between university courses, they're thinking of doing a gap year. Why not older ones? You know, my channel's called Level 50 Preparedness, Level 50 Prepper. If you're in your 50s, take a gap year, you know. My son's going around the world, climbing mountains, doing it. And I said, hang on, I'm the one who has adventures around here. It's not too late for us older ones. If you're in your 50s, I'm going to take a gap year, a grey gap year. I'm going to go and find a free house in Japan and have an adventure. And if you want, just do it for 90 days. I can help you. That's dead easy. You get a 90-day visa. I'll help you all the things to choose a home. And if you want to extend it and you like it, go for a J-Find visa for 2 years, and you can extend that again and again. Shoot me an email. It's in the description below.